Hey, you geeks! Sorry, but due to a blizzard stranding me in North Dakota for 2 days and coming down with a cold, this video is going to be less structured. Today, I am reviewing my favorite fantasy book, The Horse and His Boy. Shocker, I know. This book has been my favorite since about 4th grade. It is one of the 3 books I keep in my library at all times like a security blanket. I may not read it often, but just knowing this book exists makes me happy in a way that Sanderson or Lord of the Rings can't even compete with. I have read this book so often that, in fact, I can trace all of my writing habits back to this book. Random capitalization of nouns to emphasize importance? Check. Cheeky asides, which are slightly off topic? Check. Stories within stories? Check.
A little backstage tour. Take 'em behind the scenes for a revealing and intimate look at the story within the story.
Because what they don't know is how we really were there, even though they didn't know we were there, you know?
This book is the perfect read for any mid-grader. It appealed to all of my niche preferences: horses, runaways, and magic. I read the Chronicles of Narnia as a series because Harry Potter was just being released, and at that point, my parents weren't sure if Harry Potter was devilry or not. Hedging their bets, they ordered that I either had to read all of the Lord of the Rings or all of the Chronicles of Narnia before I could read Harry Potter. Having read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in school and falling in love with the whimsical land of talking animals, I chose Narnia. So I was very pissed in Prince Caspian when it all got destroyed.
I can't believe she would throw me away!
However, The Horse and His Boy brings it all back and then some. World building. The Horse and His Boy is the only Chronicle of Narnia that exists entirely within the world of Narnia. We see Calimere and Archenland for the first time. Although earlier stories explore the world to the far north and the end of the sea, all the main characters are just passing through and must return to the real world. The Horse and His Boy live entirely within this magical realm. Through his eyes and his friends, we get to see what it is actually like to live here, especially what it is like to have neighbors like Narnians. Plot. In some ways, this book is a lot like Lewis's own fanfic for his world. It even contradicts some of his earlier canon.
Seems familiar.
Is it from a dream? Or a dream of a dream?
The story begins much more mildly than his other adventures. Unlike The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Shasta doesn't discover that he was the prophesied savior of his nation until after he already did it. This means that his actions arise much more naturally, and while he, like everyone else, has to cope with the odd divine intervention, nothing seems forced or overly contrived. Characters. Bree is probably my favorite character ever. A proud warhorse who becomes humbled by a mere boy. His quips crack me up all the time. The book also spends a good deal of time with female characters. Aravis, Hwin, Laura Saline, Susan, and Lucy. Each girl is distinct, though Lewis tends to characterize all the girls along the spectrum of, to use my mother's phraseology, tomboy to girly girl, with or without good sense. Lastly, C.S. Lewis as our narrator is a lovable character in his own right.
Say, who are you?
I'm the narrator.
Oh, well, please, for goodness sakes, narrate me down from here.
Very well.
He has the greatest lines, from remarking that no one wants to read children's essays, to summing up Arvis and Cor's relationship as they argued and made up so frequently that they got married so they could do it more conveniently. However, He promised that there would be a good history of Calormere at my local library, and to this day, I have yet to find one. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to see more. Thank you. Your patronage is greatly appreciated.